And we are back with semifinals action here at the Outbreak tournament with Revolution Esports. I am Paul alongside Shy Guy, and we're excited to bring you this matchup right now of the Dojo and
Now
Celtic Cross
entering
here on Kings
King's
Row. Shy Guy,
Row.
what are you looking for as we start this match?
I'm just looking for an interesting semifinal. These two
Initiating
teams have
match.
fought their way through the tournament. The Dojo had a really impressive run through group stages yesterday, knocking out Old Man Strength. Now both of these teams, of course, winning their quarterfinal matches earlier today. And Celtic Cross on the other side should make for a very interesting matchup here tonight. I think we're going to have one very, very deserving team beating another very deserving team, but only one
Ready
can
for battle.
advance to the grand finals to play for their share of that $1,000 prize pool. Brought to everybody by our patron, Coach Careless. Uh, just a
Attackers
fantastic
incoming in
presence here in
30
the tier
seconds.
three scene, making all this happen. And I can't wait to get into this match.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head when both teams are incredibly deserving. I had the chance yesterday to watch that Dojo OMS game, and I mean the Dojo just were hitting on all cylinders. We've been seeing, we hear the chat, the banter of different managers and things. And Celtic
Five,
Cross has absolutely been
four,
a force
three,
as we're getting this one
two,
underway. We're looking at two
one.
very different comps as
Attackers
well.
incoming.
Berserky and Prodigy coming out here on
Defend
Hanzo
objective
May.
A.
We're gonna see Nexo could be swapping a couple times here. They're actually not quite sure what they're going with here. So Nexel and T-Boogie and Sesko are all going to swap out of spawn. Very interesting comp to start out here, Shy.
Yeah, I mean, something very standard on the defense with that May Hanzo. Zerky has been incredible on that so far in this tournament. And Rami getting the opening pick. Sesko get walled
Beautifully
off.
done. Yeah, so Paradox is already going to swap to the Mercy. Sesko's going to go into the Hanzo. T-Boogie's going to go Far. So we're going to look at a Far Mercy combo with double shield. So out of the gate, sort of a bit shaky trying to find a rhythm here.
Yeah, they didn't seem to know exactly how they wanted to approach this, but now they're going to go for this kind of pokier style with T-Boogie laying in the rockets. He's sectioned them off. He's really cut off the defenders from having any access to the point right now.
So we're going to see Iglias begin to move onto the point here. Shrek's going to hold that corner, as you can see. Nexo's got the healers on both of them, so a really smart choice there on the Moira. Going to play with the double shield very well as Paradox remains up in the sky. Samaritan's the first one out of mech here. Iglias moving onto point, so we've got still a 6 on 6, but Rami's going to go down and change that to a 6 on 5. They've got the advantage looking for that first tick. Looks like they're going to look for a soft reset here. Not going to give up right away. Berserky's going to trade with Sesko. Samaritan's going to be taken down. They've got, looks to be a 6 on 2 on point here. Paradox brings Sesko back. Prodigy's going to go down, and they're going to look to cap.
Yeah, I think they pretty much got this one in the bag. It was a weird decision there from Rami and Economy. They split themselves off from the rest of the team. Economy going for a bizarre kind of flank charge up off of the high ground that doesn't really work out. Rami gets halted up and taken down, and they just kind of crumble after losing a couple of early picks there. The res allows for Celtic Cross to just kind of stay at full strength through the entire fight, and now they come away with a really healthy ult economy.
And the other part of that too is sort of the novelty of, there's so many swaps happening at the start. It's like how do you respond on defense? You're sort of stuck on point watching all these changes. How do you make those adjustments here? As Egli is put right back on the point. Dragons come out. Raymond's going to try to take it down. T-Boogie's going to join him. Shatter going to go right into the blitz, so they're going to offset. Prodigy's going to find two though. Economy finds the pin, and the cart is going to be stopped right past the arch.
We get DPS ults galore, but it's the Blizzard that really makes the big impact. Prodigy throwing that one out, and it is a nice stabilization now for the side of the Dojo. They've got to avoid getting picked off as they fall back behind the choke, though.
So we're going to see both teams moving on the point. Shrek and Iglia both have ult. Samaritan has bomb here in an interesting spot here. Right through the arch, but massive shatter going to find 3. Egli's not able to find anything though along with it. He's going to be the first one down. Samaritan's going to find the bomb onto Shrek here, so that's going to be 4 kills here. And Dojo's going to look to clean up.
Yeah, a nice charge from Economy puts Eglia on the ground there. They just charge into each other. That opens the door for the kill. Without the shield there, the bomb is massive. from Samaritan, and they come away with yet another fight win, now bleeding this clock down quite a bit, and looking very solid on the defense.
So they're going to look to move point. Nobody has ults at this point except for Zerky. Economy will have it shortly, so maybe we see some kind of combination. Shatter, even Nifficance coming up on that rally. So High Noon's going to come out from Berserky though. He's holding on the high ground. Everyone sort of steps aside, going to wait out the Cowboy here. No action from that as they're hiding out in the bookshop. And right now, just kind of feeling each other out here.
Yeah, I mean, Sesko on the Reaper is now like completely behind the enemy team, gets sectioned off, has to teleport, but T-Boogie doing work in the front line.
We're going to see T-Boogie going to find 2 immediately. Eglia going to find another, so that's a 6-on-3, make it a 6-on-2. They've got Samaritan out of mech here, and they're going to be able to push this thing, maybe try to make it only 1 or 2 fight opportunities left here for the Dojo to defend.
Yeah, the Doomfist swap is working wonders right now. T-Boogie already up to that Meteor Strike, laying in so much damage, so much pressure on the front line of the Dojo right now, but Prodigy is going to be coming back with yet another Blizzard. Just needs to land an Icicle or 2 to make his way there.
An ult advantage right now, definitely in the favor of Celtic. We've seen Nexo, T-Boogie, and Sesko, and Shrek, and Eagly are coming up on the ult as well, so Nexo's going to ult out of the gate here. Sesko's going to be the first one to take it down, so they're ulting into a 6-on-5 and a beat drop here from Rami. Blitz are going to come out. Rami's going to be taken down by Nexo, T-Boogie, and Shrek. Going to pick up a couple more bombs out through the Blitz. Samaritan going to find Shrek. So we've got a few picks both ways. Samaritan and Berserky, the last one. Berserky's going to be taken down. So the Dojo here on their last leg.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic Cross just plays that so patiently. Even though they lose Sesko early on in the fight, they're able to force out the sound barrier from Rami, and as soon as it fades, the Gravitic Flux from Shrek just absolutely decimates the defenders at that point. They can't hang on any further, and they give up point B.
So Sesko, Eglia coming in with ults here. No ults on the side of the Dojo to open up this fight. They're going to hold corner. Sort of look to dance around just a little bit here. Eglia trying to find a war with Economy, gets caught around the wall, but able to sidestep. Sesko down from the high ground. Samaritan's going to find the whole eats there. Samaritan eats have been beautiful so far this tournament. And today is no different. Ram's going to find a rock to the face though, only with Nifficance. No support left. They're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, and the defensive effort is nice there from Samaritan, but it's not enough at the end of the day. The attention, you know, all put on that Death Blossom allows T-Boogie to go crazy once again, and now they are approaching the end on King's Row.
So we're going to see here, Nexus coming out with ult. Nifficance is going to start with the rally. They're going to go right into them. There's a minute and a half left, so they've got a few fights to go here. So T-Boogie has ult, as is Nexus, so they can kind of hold it here and sort of play this strategically.
Yeah, I mean, that was a massive boop there from Rami, though. It allows for the stabilization without really much of a fight for the defenders, and now they get to hang on to ultimates. They still got the Blizzard, the Sound Barrier, the Shatter ready to go.
So Blizzard's going to come out here immediately from Prodigy to open up this fight. Berserky going to find a few and begin the onslaught there on the defense. Samaritan's going to go down, but that's not going to matter here. And with just under a minute left, a beautiful team kill.
Yeah, I mean, they only have to use the Blizzard as well to get that win, so they're still going to be in a pretty healthy spot. But look at the other side. 4 ultimates ready to go. Eglia could get there relatively quickly once they get into the thick of things. So this is going to be an explosive final fight here on King's Row.
Sesko's going to pop Cowboy to start things off here. We're going to see Shrek's ult come out as well. Bomb coming up from Samaritan. Is he able to find any? Yes, Berserky finds 2 with the Deadeye. They've got a 6-on-3, and they're looking to run them out. So with 20 seconds on the clock, maybe they have time for one quick reset here. Maybe a stall character's going to come out, but with 12 seconds, beautifully played.
Yeah, I mean, no changes going to be coming out here. They're going to just have to kind of throw themselves at the cart, but most of the team is here.
So T-Boogie is going to be a really late swap onto the Tracer. Shrek's going to go to Hammond, but it might not make a difference if Nexo, Eglia, and Paradox aren't there to help. So that's going to be taken down. Really well done here. A lot of great CC action coming out. Berserky picks up a couple more. Samaritan going to find the last kill on the Shrek, and they're going to be stopped just after the second point.
Yeah, I mean they just have to kind of launch themselves at the cart, but unfortunately, Nifkins has the rally up, and that just makes finding kills at that moment pretty much impossible. The tracer from T Boogie is really never going to have a good time at that point. Just too much armor to kind of burn through. So an excellent defensive effort there towards the tail end of King's Row does secure a pretty solid defense from Celtic Cross. I mean, they've got their work cut out for them to get to that point, but if they can get through these first two checkpoints, then they have a really good shot at winning this map.
And so I think if we think about it in terms of, so we saw on attack there a lot of late changes, a lot of swaps really through the first few pushes. You expect that sort of thing to happen again, or do you think this will be a little more organized coming out of the gate?
I definitely lean in that direction for sure, especially coming out from Celtic Cross this time around. You know, they were a little bit kind of indecisive at the beginning of that first round, and it kind of continued. They kept making swaps pretty much constantly throughout that map, trying to get a leg up, trying to find an advantage. But this time they're going to start off on something much more standard in terms of their composition. They got double shield tanks in there with the Rhine and the Sigma. May McCree is a extremely meta DPS duo right now, especially on King's Row.
So we're going to see Berserky coming out here on the Symmetra, Prodigy on the Doomfist, Samaritan going to go Winston here along with Economy's Ryan. So they're going to just sort of hide it behind the tower, buy their time here. Egli and Shrek double shield into it. Economy's going right in though, going to look for something. Welcome up. We're going to see Egli, the first tank, to go down here. Nifigance is going to go down as well, but they have spawn advantage. Keep that in mind. Berserky's going to use the turrets, really just push them and bully them off point.
And it seems like the point of that Symmetra was just to get the Rhine in position for that charge. It doesn't net any kills, but it buys them space. It gets them into the point effectively, and now they've got control of this choke.
So Paradox going to pick up Samaritan here. A lot of them going to fall very low. Rami Prodigy going to clean up the rest, and that's going to be a cap in under a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the first charge doesn't work out for Eglia, but that second one, or for Economy, that second one is absolutely massive. Separates Eglia from the rest of the team, gets a ton of damage onto that Reinhardt, and really cuts the re-engage off the knees.
And the end of that fight, too, is something I always look for, even just as a player in ladder, in teams really pushing the agenda through the streets as soon as point is capped, you know, and so there's two staggers there were absolutely beautiful to force them to go for a full reset.
Yeah, I mean, that gets, you know, the Dojo through the choke point relatively free here. It gets them into this middle section of the map, but they've lost Prodigy.
Samaritan gonna go right into the back line. Prodigy's gonna be the first one down though. As you said, Berserky's gonna go down as well. So no DPS remaining. A 6 on 4. They're gonna beat drop into that regardless. So Samaritan and Economy gonna go down next. Significance joins them in the grave, and that'll be a pretty clean fight.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a questionable sound barrier there from Rami, but it gets matched by Paradox, so really nothing kind of lost in that fight. And now we see a swap from Berserky. They want to get, you know, up into this kind of more brawly style, get a Reaper of their own in the mix.
So we're going to see Eglia's got ult here available. Samaritan's going to go full Angry Monkey in the back line, going to jump on the Nexel and continue to move through, but no deaths yet. T-Boogie's going to be up in the air, not able to land anything quite yet. Prodigy's going to come in though, set Samaritan up for a couple of kills, so they're going to be able to find 2 kills here through of what's been a pretty sustained fight. They'll find a few more, likely put this point away.
Yeah, and that is just fantastic aggression coming out there from the Dojo to keep this push going. And now they're going to roll into point B relatively easily. Over 5 minutes remain on the clock for this final section of the map, and you know they were impressive yesterday against Old Man Strength here, and they're keeping it up again today.
And I think, sort of as Berserky's going to be taken down there, I think part of what made them look so lethal yesterday is how organized they are. And we sort of saw that at the beginning of this too, right? So we saw Celtic kind of have to make some changes back and forth. But as Economy's able to get out his shatter, they really just found game plans and stuck with them. And so far with 4.5 minutes, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, now they got the sound barrier to help them go forward. Samaritan on the Winston is going to be trying to push everyone back, but economy has fallen. The trade of the Reinhardts is just leading to kind of a breakdown of this fight.
So we're going to see Nipkins go down as well. Sesko continues the onslaught here. Berserker's going to go down as well, so they'll probably look for a full reset here. The economy will look for a full reset, get some full charge, and just back out, go back to spawn. With 4 minutes to go, they've got 40 meters left, and they're looking pretty set.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you are the dojo, you kind of just want to play this very patiently. You don't have a ton of distance to cover for the rest of this map, and now they're going to go over to the Zarya for Samaritan. I like that swap. It gives you such a powerful ultimate in the Graviton Surge to just be able to kind of win a fight single-handedly off that, or with kind of some kind of combo. Really is exactly what you need.
Economy gonna get the action start with T-Boogie taken out right away. Ramy and Nipkins both gonna go down, so no support left on that offensive here. Economy's gonna go down as well. Samaritan gets 30% ult charge at least out of it, but that's a beautifully done team wipe here for Celtic.
Yeah, but not ultimately a negative necessarily for the dojo. They didn't really have ultimates for that fight, and they kind of just run in, get wiped, and reset. So now they get to come back on even footing. They even have the rally in the back pocket, so they can try to get aggressive for that.
Well said. I think a very clean drive right. Nipkins chucks right into the back line. We see the shoulder bash go right through the front line. So they're playing, like you said, they were looking to get in there really quickly with the rally. They do so. Sesko gets caught out in the back line. They basically waited to rape out and realized, hey buddy, you aren't going anywhere. Paradox can be taken down as well. Phillies are 6-on-4. Economy's going to be caught in a stun, but that's not going to affect him for long. Next is going to be taken down. T-Boogie will join him. So they've got 30 meters to go with 2.5 minutes left here, and it looks like they might have a chance for one more hold.
Yeah, there's going to kind of be a desperate attempt to stop this cart at the last second, and not a lot of tools to do it with. Shrek will have those bongos, the supercharger ready to go, but they've got to get into this fight quick. Sesko on the flank.
So Sesko looking to get in on the flank. Nexel will have ult as well online. Ramy's gonna hit the bomb with the Skulachar button. Indeed, Shrek's gonna immediately lose the bongo here. Block Shatter comes out here. Eggway's gonna look for his. Able to find a couple, but they Charlie 9er the point, trying to just dodge some ults here, and the dojo's gonna get the first map.
Yeah, I mean, the good news, or not the good news, because losing the map is never good news. I don't think Celtic Cross was going to win that fight anyway. They were down in ultimates. They were in a rough position at that point, so it was definitely going to be tough, but you never want to lose a map like that before you've even lost the fight. So a rough way to begin, but the dojo just looks so strong so far. They are, like you said, extremely coordinated, extremely prepared for what this series has kind of thrown at them so far. But we'll see if that can continue as we head over to map number 2. This time going to be selected by Celtic Cross.
It will be indeed. So we'll be going to Escort next. And with that, we'll remind you what's coming up with the rest of this tournament. So we are in the semifinals here. We start off with 24 teams, and now we're down to 4. So you're watching the first semifinal match of the Dojo versus Celtic Cross. Later, around 8 o'clock tonight, we will have semifinal match number 2 of Nocturnal versus Regen. And then tomorrow night, we will be having our grand finals at 7 p.m. Eastern with a 6:30 p.m. Eastern pregame show hosted by myself and many of the other commentators you have heard this weekend, joining us as analysts on the desk to discuss what to expect and what we've seen so far. And tomorrow they will be competing for a share of $1,000 prize pool sponsored by Careless Coaching, and the MVP of that match will receive the Careless Coaching Outbreak MVP award. And so when we're looking into this next map here, Shai, so what sort of things does Celtic need to do? Like you said, maybe they weren't going to win that last fight. So what do you think they have to bring to the table in this next one if they really want to show out here?
If I'm them, I kind of want to try and lean into some of my strengths, which In my mind, seem to be their kind of compositional flexibility and their ability to play a lot of different looks. They threw a ton at us there on Kings Row. I mean, they played the Pharah, which is not exactly a meta pick on a close range map like that. T Boogie brought out an insane Doomfist at times, and I think they looked good playing around him. But they really just have to find ways to kind of limit the value that some of these dojo players are getting. I mean, I really think that Prodigy just had his run of that map when he was playing May. It didn't really matter what hero he was on. Prodigy was really putting in a lot of work.
Absolutely, I can't help. So we can see the all chat and one of the players calling Junkertown J Sillytown, get me to chuckle over here. Yeah, and I think too the other part of it is some of that disorganization early on. Well, ultimately they were able to cap that time setback on a map like Kings Row, where that third point is so dependent on time. Like if you get stopped along the way, you really have to throw in so many fights to get it around those second corners on the third point.
Yeah, and they had just kind of slowly been bled dry by the time they got there, and weren't able to push it all the way across the line. So maybe a little bit more decisiveness would help them in that respect moving forward. But they're going to have their work cut out for them on Junkertown. I mean, we this is another map. We saw this yesterday from the dojo. They full held Old Man Strength on this map, and they looked excellent doing it. Berserky playing the Hanzo was just a menace, and like I'm a little bit scared to run into that if I'm Celtic Cross.
And so we're gonna be loading into J Sillytown. Man, I love that. And we're gonna see first. Let me make sure we have the right one. So first on offense here will be Celtic Cross.
Yes. We're not changing the sides up or anything. No funny business going on this time around. So yeah, they'll be on the attack first, of course. The dojo wanting to come out on the defense, as most teams typically do when they are given that choice. Is now they are going to be looking to take this series to a 2-0 to get out to what seems kind of like an insurmountable lead. But they'll try to start that off with the defense here on Junkertown.
And so out of the gate here, I mean, obviously subject to change, but I like the variety we're seeing initially. So we're seeing already a Mercy Zen, double sniper, Hog, Hammond, and really sort of the beauty of a map like Junkertown is you kind of have the whole playbook open to you.
Yeah, I mean, in double snipers has always been something that really finds a lot of value on this map. I am wondering if Shrek is really going to be on this hog, or if he's maybe just looking to step outside the spawn doors, look for a quick hook. He's not even going to do that, going on to the Sigma Orisa tank duo here. Much more standard stuff, but they've got the defenders right in close range. We hold spawn, says Economy, and they are doing exactly that.
And we saw that yesterday too, and I think you mentioned it at the top. We saw, like, I mean, they held them in spawn for so long. A map that, like, traditionally, or at least widely isn't. You think of some of the other maps, like Paris or or Real, and some of the other sort of quirky ones that end up getting banned. Not holding in spawn here, but they're going to start looking to get the cart moving right away here. Egley is going to stay on the Hammond, find Nifkins in the background. Sesko on the Bastion, able to take out Samaritan. So we're going to see back to the farmer. See, we saw the open King's Row with a little Bastion tweak here for Junkertown.
Yeah, this is fascinating. And now Berserky realizes, hey, I need to get onto the Widowmaker, put some pressure onto T Boogie, try and get that Far Mercy duo up out of the sky, because if you've got both of these major threats, that's going to be trouble.
Absolutely, and so they're gonna have a lot of different things to deal with here between the Far Mercy and the Bastion. Bastion can be taken out, so Egley is going to look to get in the back line another way here, as they don't have that front pressure. So Egley gets on cart, going to pop up 3, not going to be able to find any quite yet. Paradox brings back Sesko. We got 6 on 6. Shrek is ult available, going to come out right on point here. Rammy taken out with the pull from that. Economy going to go down into Sigma ult. So we have a 6 on 4. They have the ability to move the cart to Samaritan, hop right in. Shrek's going to end up SDing, because of that defense matrix jumping right in. Cisco finds a good angle, and they're able to get this car really rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I like what the Dojo was trying to do there. They speed out, they punish Cisco for his lack of mobility, but then they're still left with a situation where they've overextended themselves. T Boogie is just laying in rockets for free. The res comes in onto the Bastion, and they really can't do anything.
And so we're going to see a last fight here just as they're about to bring it around the corner here. Economy going to look for a shatter. Mirage going to come out, not going to find anybody here. Sesko going to switch forms here, going to find Berserky. You see Shrek playing very far off the point, trying to leave the initial cart moving here to Eglia, just sweeping through the back line. T Boogie's going to pick up 2, and with 0.35 meters left, Rami just doing their best to just crouch along the point. They'll get knocked off and they'll get them secure the first point.
No full hold here today for the Dojo. They end up kind of getting wrecked by that Bastion composition. Unfortunately, we do have a disconnect coming through. Nifkins is having some internet issues, so we'll work to get him back into the match. But for now, the defense has had some trouble finding its footing so far here for the Dojo.
And I think they're sort of left to grapple with how to defend so many different ways that they're being attacked, right? So we're seeing the Pharmacy come out, so you have a lot of backline pressure, especially with the Eglia, and then you've just got so much damage really just effectively being funneled through Sesko. And so maybe once they get through this sort of tighter area of Junkertown, they'll find a good equation to stop that.
Yeah, I mean, the Bastion gets infinitely more difficult to run as you progress through this map. Once you don't have to cover all this ground to get up in his face, you can kind of just drop in from the top, or force him to kind of reposition if he wants to be effective. So this is now an opportunity for the Dojo to really find an answer. The Pharah also loses a little bit of her ability to just stay out of range and to stay safe. So really things get much more difficult from here on out for Celtic Cross, but a good start for them here on Junkertown. They've given themselves a healthy time bank moving forward. And even if they have to swap comps, that's still not a bad place to find yourself.
Right, exactly. And I think, it's funny, you think about unconventional or timely pauses, and you have to think this is almost timely for the Dojo to sort of get their footing with this extra time. I mean, historically, you think of some of the famous delays. The power went out in the Niners Ravens Super Bowl, or different rain delays. And it's like this might have been the best thing that could have happened to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives them a moment to just kind of collect themselves, to discuss what's been happening so far. Think about how do we want to approach this from here on out? What is going to actually be our answer to the Bastion specifically? So it definitely gives you an opportunity to regain composure and get your head back into the right space as you look to kind of keep the momentum going. Because if the Dojo, they want to avoid getting tied up here, losing Junkertown, and finding themselves at a 1-1 situation.
And so, as we wait here through the delay, it looks like they had a restart, so we might be waiting just another minute or two. So right now, you are watching map number 2 here of the Dojo versus Celtic Cross in our semifinals action. And after this, we will have around 8 o'clock pending, delays, obviously, and we want to make sure we get through this and don't rush our players. We'll have Nocturnal and Regen coming up next. And so so looking ahead, so regardless of the outcome of this, it's a best of 5 or a race to 3. So after this, we go to control, then assault, and then back to control if necessary. The fact that this goes to control next, I think really plays well into the hands of a team like Celtic Cross that's really just wants to kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink on a map and then control. You absolutely get to do that.
No, I mean, and not only that, but you get 3 different kind of points completely, or 3 different maps almost to work with on those control maps. So like your versatility and your ability to do all of these different things becomes that much more valuable, because you can have a different strategy or a different comp for every point, and we were talking about the Bastion and the trouble it might have here on point B, but T Boogie, I think he realizes it too, going over to the Echo now.
Yeah, and Eggly are going to swap to Orisa. So the funny part is, as much as we want to talk about how does the Dojo answer it, what phone are they answering here? What are they picking up? They're not picking up the Stop Bastion phone anymore. You know, Celtic Cross is going to make a couple good switches here. So like you said, we're going to see the Echo McCree, which I've seen more common than not. So like you're getting that sort of versatility again, like they had earlier. You know, sort of from the sky and from the ground. A lot of damage going to be coming out. Prodigy's Blitz are going to try to put a halt to this thing. Economy going to take down Trek. Eggly's going to go down as well. So no tank line here for that McCree or that Echo. Berserky going to go down in the exchange here, so the fight will continue on. Sesko's going to find a pick. They have a slight spawn advantage, so with Samaritan going down here, they're going to be able to hop back on cart and really look to get this thing going again.
I mean, especially with the later kills in that fight, they swing it back in their favor. The tanks are going to be coming back in here. They want to push the cart a little bit forward, though. Make this as quick as possible. Make sure it's just one fight to decide it all here on Junkertown.
So we're going to see them set up along that right-hand side of the staircase here. High Noon coming out. Samaritan just diving right in on that. Okay, right away. So next we take it down as well. Economy going to ult down the hallway here. Look to ult Sesko. Not going to be able to get away with that. But meanwhile, the cart is still rolling. So they only have a little bit left to go. And a team kill will get them the second point.
Yeah, I mean, in both tanks there from the side of the Dojo, they just throw themselves at Sesko, trying to stop that McCree up on the high ground. They commit so many resources to it, but he doesn't die. Paradox does an incredible job of keeping his DPS alive, drawing the attention of those tanks on the other side and letting his team just win out the team fight.
So we're going to see ults already coming out of the gate. Plenty, Nexo, Paradox, Significance, all going to ult. Rammy, the only support not to ult yet. They're going to be the first one taken down here for it. We're going to see a Shatter coming out here from T-Boogie's Echo, not able to quite land any kills off of that. Sesko and T-Boogie continue their onslaught, trading with Berserky. Their Shrek's going to find Significance. Project going to go down as well, and another clean, effectively an acer to get the cart rolling again.
Oh, and now Sesko deep in the back. He takes down his opposite number, wins the 2v1 there, and forces Ramy to retreat. That's a little extra time bought for his team to go position themselves, to go get set up for this next fight and keep that payload rolling forward.
And so we see, and I might have missed even in the last fight, but Economy and Berserky swapping to the Hammond Tracer. And so they're sort of going to have to meet a little obscurity with some obscurity of their own. Samaritan's Bomb going into the back line, going to find T-Boogie and Paradox Lamp. Rammy going to go down, so we're going to see Economy really trying something different here. We've seen Samaritan jumping around as much as we have, and now Economy going to join that jump. Prodigy going to take down Nexel here. They're finally able to stop the cart and maybe get a little bit of their own momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. They now have this kind of like hybrid composition where they've got like half of a dive comp, but still the Mei in the mix. Just primarily, I think probably because Prodigy has that Blizzard ready to go. He is hiding and waiting for the entry from Celtic Cross, trying to get the jump on them, but they find him.
Yeah, and I mean, why not have a Torb and a Brigida come in on attack? I mean, what do we know here? What do we know here, Shy Guys? So Berserky, Samaritan gonna take down lots of equipment just being taken out in the upper right-hand corner. First kill of an actual player coming out with Samaritan and Economy here. So, I mean, if you were asking me what I expected to see in this match, I didn't expect a 0.3 swap to Torb and Brigida, but maybe,
that's
I mean,
brilliant. It's brilliant though, because look, I mean, look at what's on the other side. You've got these dive tanks, you've got this Tracer that's wreaking havoc in the backline, but that gets completely shut down by the Brig, by the McCree, by the Torb. It's such an intelligent swap.
Right, and so the other part of it too, these intelligent swaps really bringing out the best of both teams. Like they're sort of both playing in these interesting hybrid comps, as you alluded to, but able to really execute them perfectly. Shrek and Paradox can be taken down as well. T-Boogie does have the ult online, the only ult available actually at this point with 35 seconds left. Probably look to use that right around point.
And a great re-engage there from the side of the Dojo. We're now down to the final fight here on Junkertown. A very similar situation to what we saw on King's Row, but the ultimates are there for the attackers. T-Boogie with that molten core. They'll have a rally ready to go, the Deadeye and their gravitic flux. They've got the tools to push this across the finish line. It's just down to the execution now.
They're going to go through the underside. Wall's going to come up here, force them into having to dodge around point. Eglia's got to maintain position on their Sesko. Going to be the first one to go down. Significant's going to use her ult here, able to get down Sesko. Samaritan's bomb comes out. They've been huge all tournament, and we'll find two with it. Absolutely massive here to begin to continue the push. Next is going to take down Rami though, so she'll be the first one out here from the side of the dojo. Going to complicate things just a little bit, but Berserky, Significant sort of popping off here. Berserky going to unleash the dragons, and that will be 2 points.
Indeed it will, and you know, ultimately this kind of bizarre composition at the tail end works out quite well for the dojo as they do get the stop in that final fight. It really, in my mind, it comes down to Nificancy. They spot Sesko, who is coming in on the flank as the McCree, not with the rest of the team, and they just run him down. They've got the coalescence, and they can get aggressive off the back of it. They don't even give an opportunity for Celtic Cross to really lay in those ultimates to get a lot of value. They just kind of seize the initiative, and I absolutely love to see that.
And we'll be curious to see how they can seize the initiative from the other side. It looks like we might see a whole lot of snipers out of the gate. Again, all subject to change. Prodigy looking like maybe a bash in here, but we're continuing to see a whole lot of swaps. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some hybrid variations again, and maybe at least a few more snipers on the openness of this first point.
No, for sure. I mean, this has always been kind of a playground for snipers in general. The Widow is so effective, especially on this map. Just there's nowhere else in the game that really has the same type of sightlines that Junkertown A provides. So much distance that you can just kind of use to your advantage as the Widow take these long shots, and we're going to see it on both sides. Berserky versus Sesko.
And interesting, so we saw in that last one a whole sort of was set up right in front of the point. They're going to go all the way around the side.
That wall was brilliant. I love it. They boost over the top. They rotate completely, and now they've got the high ground.
They have the Anakin. They have the high ground. Economy going to get right in there. Berserky's going to be the first one to go down, so not going to be able to outlast that. But we see Prodigy's main tank dividend able to find Trek. The economy going to go down, so no main tank. Rami going to look for it. The boop. She's going to find it on the Eglia. Beautifully done. Trek comes back from the grave. Samaritan going to find Paradox. And meanwhile, this whole time, the cart keeps on chugging as Sesko and Shrek go down again here. T-Boogie joins them. What a wall and what an opportunity.
My mind is still just blown by that. I haven't ever seen that particular wall before. I've seen plays like that in the distant past. It felt like a thing I haven't seen in years in Overwatch, but it works out beautifully. They win that team fight, and they don't even have to take a second one.
I don't know if I can count. Like, I don't think I can count how high that level of IQ that play was. That was just absurd. And I think the interesting thing too, from all the matches we've had on stream and just even watching casually here so far with a lot of these top tier 3 teams, when the offense sort of flips to fight from the defense side, great things are going to happen.
Now, I mean, it's such a smart rotation there from the side of the dojo, and they kind of do it again here.
And they sort of allow it to happen.
This time it doesn't work out as well, but now they're making it work. They're sticking together as a unit, and they're finding these kills.
And they rotate, and they basically 3 forces. So Economy's walking back to their own spawn here. Eglia gets walled in on the opposite side here.
The fight's over, and the payload's it's rolling. It's free.
Yeah, any kills they get are actually gonna, they sort of, if they get kills, they effectively would have pinched themselves because they had pinned them between their spawn. And unbelievably done. I
mean, and now the recontest for Celtic Cross is going to be nearly impossible. They're going to make an effort of it. They've got Samaritan up on the high ground dropping in, or sorry, Shrek dropping in, but he's frozen up immediately.
And Shrek's going to be taken down. Significant, able to find a beautiful kill. And well done by her. Berserky going to be taken down by Sesko. And with that, I mean, they've got 5 minutes on the clock to push it, not even the whole distance here on third point.
I am I am in love with everything that the dojo is doing right now. I mean, they are just taking Celtic Cross to school right now. They are showing them, who is the master, who is the Padawan right now, and it is a joy to watch. They continue to have the ult economy in a pretty good spot with both those support ultimates nearly there. They got the shatter as well for economy.
And so 5 ults online. I was gonna just start counting them up, but half the screen's lit up there for Celtic Cross. So they've got 5 ults online. Economy, the only one to this point. Nificant's gonna have her ult very shortly here as well. With 4.5 minutes left, though, they're sort of able to think about this strategically. Either they can sort of just keep taking fights, dry runs, and ults alike. They might want to look for a dry run here, or they could just count up the ults and let them rip.
Now the engage is coming through. No kills just yet, but that Gravitic Bugs pulls them all up in the air. The shatter is huge.
Samaritan gonna find two. Economy and Nificant's gonna go down for a project going down as well, so very well repositioned there after the initial advantage. Rami and Samaritan gonna go down as well. Walls are up, so maybe Berserky looks for a pick to get their next fight started here. We're gonna see sort of dancing around from spawn, but well done as we come under 4 minutes here.
Yeah, I mean that was a huge fight there for the side of Celtic Cross. Not only for the win that they get, but they maintain their ult economy really well. Both support ultimates available for them going forward. So now in a pretty good spot as once again the Dojo rotating around this high ground.
Berserky able to kill T-Boogie as T-Boogie's ult comes off. No DPS left though for Celtic. After some great initial picks, they're gonna see Window in the corner there into the shield. Berserky finds Shrek. So Window's live. Zetsu's gonna swap onto Reaper, maybe try to look for something in the backline. Nexo's just gonna ult basically to stay alive and keep Egli alive. Going into that back corner here. Egli looking to pull off the high ground, and Sesko is going to appear in the backline. Economy takes down Eglia. We talked about earlier how well as a team they're able to stay together in a ball. They're able to push it, and Dojo wins map number 2.
And they do it off the strength of how they play the map. It's not that they were just like overwhelming with like mechanical skill or that their compositions were always the best choice, but on that attack round especially, they just know exactly how they want to approach each point. They have a plan, they have a unique plan, and they really seem to have caught Celtic Cross a little bit off guard, and they just keep rolling forward in this series.
And the other thing too is, like you said, it wasn't a mechanical victory. It certainly wasn't a composition victory in the traditional sense. It was a whole lot of this is what we play best, even if it looks sort of bizarre. Like we're the hybrid comps, a Tor Brigida switch that just sort of blew everything out of the water, a well done wall, and fighting on attack as if they were on defense. They really just were able to outthink whatever Celtic threw at them and just make do with whatever they wanted.
No, I mean, and it's such an impressive win there for the dojo, and it puts them on match point now. They are one map away from punching their ticket into the grand finals, from making sure that they end up in the money in this tournament, and for the chance to compete for that $800 first place prize. I mean, this is what they've been competing for, and they are so close to it at this point.
And we had talked about it a little bit too during our impromptu break. The idea that if you're Celtic, control is probably not where you want to have to face a team that's playing so obtusely and in such a diverse way as the dojo right now. I mean, maybe at that point you abandon all your plans and sort of like it. Do you try to go absolutely conventional, what you've always done, or sort of throw everything out the window as well and just try to keep up with so much change?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to think that you are not super well served by kind of getting down in the dirt with a team that seems practiced on this kind of stuff, that seems prepared to kind of play this way. But when the traditional hasn't necessarily been working for you, that's when you have to start asking those kind of questions. So as we head over to control, where we already said we think the dojo has a pretty big advantage based on like just the way that they have been approaching the game so far. If you've got any tricks in your bag at this point as Celtic Cross, now is when you have to pull them out.
And right, and so you wonder what is in the bag. Like what do they consider their bread and butter? Have they used it? And sort of, and I like to think of it in terms of like if I was in the war room, if I'm in the trenches with them right now, like what am I doing? And I know, and I think anyone who's played ladder knows this. Sometimes when you just get blown out of the water, you're like, everybody just pick your comfort picks. I don't care what it looks like. And I think the dojo sort of strategy sort of lended
Now
itself to that,
arriving at
and
Yi
I'm curious to see if Celtic
Gamma.
decides to go the same way.
Yeah, we'll kick it off here on Garden, which if I'm thinking back to some of the stuff we've seen so far in this series, like T Boogie could break out that Farah that we saw earlier and had quite a bit of success with. Definitely a possibility here. Especially if they want to try to go for something kind of like a divier setup, that can definitely work here on Control.
Right, and to your point, even just highlighting some of the specifics we saw, like that hybrid
Ready for battle.
Farah Mercy, some of the plays with Echo. I mean, we see Prodigy maybe looking at the Echo again. They're just sort of in spawn playing around with the basketball, so they could have just picked that for some kind of sweet jump shot. We still see a lot of swapping here, but you've got a lot of interesting things, and I think one thing we maybe even haven't highlighted is your sort of standard picks, like a Rami looking for Boops and Nificans. I mean, Rami and Nificans sort of secretly both of them popping off. I'd keep an eye on Rami's Boops. She's found a lot of them throughout the tournament. And Nificans just bashing right into the backlines. She's got a lot of aggressive plays here that I think are really paying off.
And now we've got this kind of clash of styles here. The Wrecking Ball out from Economy goes very low early on, having to back off, but Prodigy already in on the edge, finds the kill on the Setsuko.
And Nificant's going to sort of play that corner here, holding M1. Wow, I totally forgot that for a second. The ground pound going to pop everybody up into the air here. Sort of the Mimi just going to roll around point, make everyone feel the pain here. Rami going to take down Exo. Economy going to clean up. Aglia maintains there. T-Boogie's fairly low, taken off point. And really a strong start out of the gate here for the dojo.
No, absolutely, and now they might even be able to get some stagger kills here. No, Sesko will make it out alive, but the opening pick onto him is what lets them go in so aggressively. They don't have to worry about the stun coming through and a lot of burst damage onto any of their members, onto the squishy Echo. They can really utilize that pick to break open that first point.
So we're going to see Sesko coming on the point here with ult available. We already hear it. High noon online. T-Boogie going to pick up. Rami Berserky going to go down to the 2-pick right out of the gate here. Economy's going to lay down the mine. A lot of stall potential here, but we'll see if they're able to maintain it or if they even choose to. They have a lot of options here at that 40% mark, whether or not they want to do so. Nificant's going to use her rally and continue to be on the point here. Samaritan and Prodigy, we're going to see their equipment come offline. Torb's turret taken down. Nificant's Berserky's going to find a couple of kills here, and all of a sudden they have a chance to flip it.
They absolutely do. They got the mobility to get back into these fights quickly, and they are turning it on its head right now. Prodigy doing so much work staying alive on this Echo, and Rami is back to cleaning things up as they maintain control through all of that.
Yeah, and I think we highlighted at the top even just like with this mix of these hybrid comps. I mean, it's a little more standard with like a Hammond Diva, but Rami really just showing what she's got on this Lucio so far. A couple of really well done boops and plays that stall point. They've got 4 ultimates online here, but they're definitely fighting uphill.
I mean, because it's realistically going to be 4 on the other line. That sound barrier, the rally is going to make this a difficult fight for the side of Celtic Cross.
Samaritan's bomb going to find Sesko. Samaritan rarely throws one up without taking one down here. Shrek's going to go on to Samaritan here, but Rami beach off. He's telling to keep him alive. Economy fighting too with the mind zone nonetheless, so they're going to be able to keep pushing on the point here. Economy taking Eglia off. That's 3 kills for Economy. Really just bringing saying, hey, I want to be part of that kill feed too. Berserky gonna find a melee kill. They are up to 99%, and they're just gonna finish it off and take it and like absolutely push it to match point.
I mean, that is clean, and like it really kind of felt like that one was done the minute they swung that kind of second team fight back in their favor. They were down, they were able to stall it out and keep things going for a long time. Winning that fight though, that was what really kind of crippled Celtic Cross. They didn't have enough time to really be able to bring it back. Even if they win that final fight, you know, they're still so far from a victory at that point. So we're just seeing some impeccable play coming out from the Dojo right now, and they are 1 point away from a place in the grand final.
And that's the other thing too, and so much of it obviously the ingenuity of the Dojo, and it's not for lack of acuity and really smart plays from Celtic. It's just smart plays back and forth with the Dojo, ending up with just a little bit more at the end of the day, and you know, just like that, it's 2-0. Excuse me, 2-0 map lead and a 1-0 start here on Lee Jong. So they're set at some point already occurring. We're gonna see counter pins coming live here. Sesko and T-Boogie gonna fall pretty low here. Kind of get the first one taken down here, so that's already a big pick. Able to take down the main tanks, get set up on point, and a change of scenery, a change of color, as we're gonna see Celtic get the initial hold.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about kind of, you know, innovating and doing some interesting stuff with your compositions. This time it is Celtic Cross. They roll out with the Symmetra that gets them to the point first, and it lets them take control before you know, there's any opportunity from the Dojo to get in there. They're just kind of hold in there, and T-Boogie goes off on the Doomfist at the back.
And we see some great staggers on the back end of it though, and those are the sorts of plays that to this point have been for the side of the Dojo, but Celtic able to find a really late pin that probably sets them back another 15 to 20 seconds here, lets them get a free tick all the way up to 42% here before they get the re-engage. So the Fortify getting top economy in his tracks, but Berserky gonna find Nexel in the back. Prodigy gonna be taken down. Samaritan gonna boop Eglia off. Nivkin, so literally back and forth, blue and red trading continues here. Samaritan and Berserky gonna take things over here, and they're gonna look to stop the bleeding at roughly 60 or 70%.
Yeah, and ultimately a pretty clean fight for them as they maintain their economy really well. It's just the Primal Rage that they have to commit to swing that one back in their favor. And you know, now they force Sesko off the Symmetra. He is on the Reaper trying to keep Samaritan from going off.
And we're going to see Significance using her rally, and Rami going to use her beat drop. So Economy and Berserky still have their ult online. Project's gonna fist pound in here. T-Boogie, Nexo Shrek going down to sort of an array of fire and hell here. And so they're gonna be able to push this thing probably at about 40% as they get a team kill.
And I mean, with the rally and the sound barrier, there's just too much kind of meat to kind of burn through there if you are Celtic Cross. They don't have the damage at that point, even with the supercharger to win it out. So now, you know, they are going to try and come back in here again, but completely devoid of ultimates.
Devoid from both sides, especially since T-Boogie gonna be the first one taken out. But we see a really cheeky back cap sort of start there. Sesko looking for it, gonna be taken down for it. Maybe would have been better served to just do a straight team fight, but like the ingenuity there, trying to look for something here. Prodigy gonna take out Trek, Egli gonna be taken down as well, and they're sort of able to move this hold up towards the spawn.
Yeah, I mean, and now it pretty much seems like we are down to our final fight here for Celtic Cross. It's do or die at this point. They've got the Coalescence. Let's see what they can make happen.
So everything on the line here. This is for match point and a spot in the grand finals. Nexo and T-Boogie going to use both of their ultimates here. Taker's coming up to 94%. They've got to make a play on point soon. Berserky able to take out Sesko here. Berserky going to find two. Prodigy's going to find another. And with that, the Dojo is going on to the grand finals.
And what can you say other than they earned it completely with their performance here today and throughout the tournament so far. I'm not 100% sure about the results of every group stage match yesterday, but I don't think they have lost a map yet so far.
I don't think they have either. And if they have, honestly, it might have served them well because they've just found these really, and we've said it a lot through the cast, but they've come up with really interesting, smart ways to attack, that sort of aren't, cookie cutter. I mean, there's ways to go about it that you'd say, okay, I've seen that before, but these ways to rotate fights in a way that's advantageous for them has been absolutely brilliant.
And they bring not just like innovation to the table in terms of their rotations and the comps they're playing, but just a tremendous amount of variety, which means they can adapt to pretty much whatever gets thrown at them. Which it just gives you such a massive leg up, and they really put on such an incredible show here today. We will see them again in the grand finals tomorrow. As for Celtic Cross, that is going to be the end of their run here, but not too shabby at all. A semifinal finish.
For sure. And we say GG's to them and moving on to the dojo. And so with that, our next semifinal match will not be until 8 o'clock. So we will stick with our schedule as it was written to start the day. Both teams were told, your semifinals matches will be at 6 and 8. So the team that is playing 8 is still taking their respective break, probably, grabbing dinner, warming up for it. So that time will not be moving up. So, but we will be stepping back here. So we will see you all at 8 o'clock. It will be, I believe, Temporal and Sir Waltham with the call for our second semifinal match and who's punching their ticket for grand finals. So for myself, for Shy Guy, for the rest of the production crew here at Outbreak, thank you, and we'll see you at 8 o'clock.